Hello, everyone, and welcome to day number 23 of the 2018 Beer Cartel Beer Advent Calendar. Today we are revealing the Boatrocker Beer Garden Pilsner. I'm Jeff Hewins from Beer Cartel, and today I am joined by Matt Houghton from Boatrocker. How are you, Matt?
I'm very good. Hi, everyone. Happy day 23.
Now, I thought we'd kick this off with getting you to just introduce yourself to everyone at home. Tell us a little bit about you, how you guys started out Boatrocker, and where you guys are and what you're all about.
Great, thank you. We started out in 2009. We're sort of a bit of an old brewery now. Amongst the realm of brewers that are out there, my wife and I started out as gypsy brewers. We couldn't afford a brewery to start off with. We then saved up our money and actually started our production brewery in 2013, at the very start of 2013. And really we started out with a number of beers to get us to that point. One was a Hoppy American Pale Ale, and the other was the Beer Garden Pilsner, which is one of those beers that is a simple beer, but also complex in its own right.
Yeah, and that's the beer we're going to be tasting today. Tell us a little bit about where you guys are. And you guys, I've always kind of admired Boatrocker, especially in the sense of the barrel program. You guys started doing a number of years ago before kind of barreling and aging beers was necessarily the in thing in Australia. Tell us a little bit about that.
That's right. I've always had a fascination with the historical context of brewing, and barrels are one of those products, I guess, that historically everything was in a wooden barrel, and the flavour impact that actually imparts to a beer is phenomenal. We started, I guess, collecting barrels in 2012. That was the first thing we bought, even before we bought a brewery. We actually invested money in 60 used wine barrels, and we then, at the October 2015, we actually started Australia's first barrel room and cellar door, and I think we've now probably got one of the largest, if not the largest, barrel program in Australia, aging all manner of sour beers, imperial stouts. It's a wonderland of crazy ideas that we like to sort of try and make work.
And I guess that we should, talk a little bit about that with regards to the range that you guys do release, because you have everything from the Pilsner that we're going to taste today right through to Hoppy Pale Ales, and then you do Saisons, and you also do Imperial Stouts like the Ramjet, which is always a sought-after release every year. Tell us a little bit
That's right, yeah.
What kind of inspires the beers that you guys release.
If you look on my hat, you can see a weather vane, I guess, which is indicative of where we come up with our ideas. We have a direction, but it's very much the brewer's whim. And where that weather vane happens to be pointing on a particular day, it's like, yeah, let's brew that. Actually, I want to drink this today, and come winter, I want to drink a big barley wine or a whiskey barrel aged imperial stout. We take our inspiration, I guess, from the legions of brewers over the millennia that have been around, and then try and put our own little twist on it. That's where we get our inspiration from. I'm a home brewer from way back when. I've always been home brewing. I've just now got a bigger kit to play with.
And so you're still on the tools every now and again?
Every now and again, I find myself torn between either phone calls, emails, repairs, making sure things work. There's always breakdowns. A small brewery, equipment malfunctions. Maybe a pump seal might break, or the glycol chiller happens to have a hissy fit, and then you've just got to be there and really just get onto everything. And then we're actually the production side of things, still mashing in. We've got an excellent team of brewers as well, but it's one of those things where I think the bigger you get, and we're not big by any stretch of the imagination, we're a tiny brewery, small family team, but we're just got grand ideas, I guess, basically, is what we're sort of trying to achieve.
Oh, shall we get into the Beer Garden Pilsner? Do you want to open yours up as well? And I'll do the same. So tell us a little bit about the inspiration. So you mentioned this beer has been around since day dot.
Actually been around since, I'm just pointing it out now, it's been around since 2011.
Yeah.
Our first beer was an American Pale Ale. I've always loved all historical styles of beer. It's one of those things where I love all beer and all booze as long as it's good. And the Germans are renowned for making incredible Pilsners. 2011, I came across one of the world's rarest hops, which is Rawaka. It's an amazing New Zealand hop. The difficulty is that it's grown in such small quantities, it's really difficult to get hold of.
Right.
But that's what's quite essential for this beer is the Rawaka hop.
Okay.
It provides unique aromatic profile and flavour profile that is unlike any other hop I've ever come across. We use it in small amounts, but it's punchy for its weight. It's got a really high oil content. The base of this beer is as simple as can be. It's one malt, Pilsner malt, German Pilsner malt, to give a nice sort of simple Pilsner malt background, like all the good German Pilsners seem to have. But then it's got a New World twist with Rawaka, which provides almost like I get gooseberry. If you smell it on the nose, I get almost like I call it Kiwi hop funk.
Yeah.
It's a combination of gooseberry, kerosene in a good way, and almost tropical fruits, pineapple, and a little bit of passion fruit. But it's just a unique hop. And then flavour-wise, it's dry and crisp, but still got a fruitiness to it. Just a really easy drinking, but complex enough to want you to go back for more, rather than just being a wet liquid, I guess. And I think that's the mark of a really good Pilsner, is it should be able to draw you in with the malt, the aroma, and that hop profile, and should finish nice and dry as well without being a sweet product.
Yeah, I didn't realise it had the NZ hop in there, and that's not a new thing by any means. It's always had that.
It's always had that. In fact, the story behind this beer, it won Best in Class in 2011 as Best Pilsner, which was great for us to be able to win a gold medal and Best in Class at the Australian National Beer Awards.
Yeah.
The downside is it's one of the world's rarest hops. And so production, we could do another couple of batches, and that's sort of it. And we're limited by how much of this hop we can get.
Yeah.
We manufacture per annum in the order of 70 to 100,000 litres of this beer per annum.
Yeah.
But that's it. That's all we can get hold of. And otherwise the hop runs out. And we're sort of that mindset that, we don't want to, compromise on the beer itself. So we limit ourselves to what you can get, which is the beauty and the hard part about manufacturing this beer. I'd love to make more of it. So it's available, but if too many people drink it, it might cause problems for us.
And I guess it's you kind of touch on one thing that a lot of people aren't aware of, and that's hop availability, and then you also have hop contracts. So as the growth of craft beer globally, and people are sourcing quite a lot of kind of new world hops, or hops that haven't been around for a long time, and which yields might be lower than other hops. You guys can have shortages of hops, and so unless you decide to then change the hop that's being used in a beer, you effectively are in a position where you then just can't brew that beer, correct?
That's right, yeah. And where the world hop market, I guess, is controlled by a number of hop manufacturers, probably 2 or 3 globally. And the big brewers have hop contracts where they will order tons and tons, and they'll pay in advance.
Yeah.
And they're locked in for years.
Yeah.
We're a really small player, so we sort of just put our hands out and hope we can get what we ask for. And if we get what we get, that's great.
Yeah.
But it doesn't always work out that way. So sometimes you'll find beers that have their absolute, like Galaxy is really hard to get hold of now. It's gone crazy with the world of NEPAs. Rawaka is really hard to get hold of as well. America's sucking up. They're so big. The market over there is enormous.
Yeah.
So they're sucking up so many of the world's hops. And then they're sort of, in some ways, we get the American hops coming over here. which can help because the American brewers are a bit over them because they've used them a lot in their products, and we have more access to American hops than we probably used to, but we don't get access to the Kiwi hops or these new varietals that are that just sort of seem to run out very quickly.
Yeah, cool. So everyone at home, you're experiencing something that's quite unique in terms of the style and the hops being used. So I hope you're all enjoying it. Tell us a little bit about what you guys have got planned there, Matt, for Boatrocker over the next couple of years. What can people expect to see?
Lots of weird and wonderful things. We're sort of known, I guess, for a number of beers. Ramjet, which is a whiskey barrel-aged imperial stout, is one. I think this Pilsner is another one. We've got, in 2017, we acquired a distillery.
Yep.
So that sits in our barrel room, in the centre of our barrel room, where we start outputting gins and vodkas and all manner of different spirits. And I guess the excitement for us is being able to get these two products working together more closely, which is why we've started playing around with fortified beer with our sparkling Dramjet. We've also got gin aging in barrels, so there's a whole realm of beers we can put into these gin barrels.
Right.
It's really, I think, finding out what we can do with beer and how we can transform that with the use of different spirits, either through barrel aging or even distilling beer. Is another avenue for us, which is, a realm of not many people doing it. So that's another interesting avenue. In terms of beer, we've got, I guess, one of the largest sour barrel programs, wild ales in Australia. We've been spontaneously fermenting a lot of our beers since pretty much we've done experiments since 2013. We released our first spontaneously fermented beer last year, earlier this year. It'd been aging for a couple of years. It was called Daddy Cool, Cool Ship beer. I think that's an avenue that I'd really like to explore. We've taken a lot of yeasts from the local area and are propagating them up to try and find unique flavour profiles. So we're very much one of those breweries, much like the name suggests, Boatrocker. We're not necessarily going out to make a pale ale and that's it. We're looking to branch out and really experiment with what we can achieve, as long as it's good and drinkable and hopefully repeatable. But some products just aren't as well. Yeah. That's the nature of brewing to an extent.
Right, yeah. And so you guys are based in Victoria. So you've got cellar door open there where people can actually kind of come and sit in and amongst the barrels. Tell us a little bit about that. When you're open, what's available?
That's right. Yeah. Yeah, we're located in Melbourne's southeast, in a little industrial precinct called Braeside. We're about 5 minutes from Mordialloc Station, 20-minute Uber drive from St Kilda.
Yeah.
And our cellar door is open Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Where pretty much we offer, if you name any beer, we're likely to have brewed it. And we'll most likely have a beer that you'll want to drink on tap, from barley wines, sour beers, through to any number of iterations, pale ales, kettle sours. Really, we like to, well, hopefully we're masters of some rather than we do everything and are masters of none. But I think with I guess our love of history and historical styles, we always want to try and delve our hands into it. So I think when you come to the barrel room, you'll most likely find any number of historical styles, but with a Boatrocker twist.
Fantastic. Well, Matt, I thank you very much for your time today. From Sydney to Melbourne, cheers.
Thank you.
Have a great
cheers. Merry Christmas to everyone.
And I hope you guys have a very prosperous period over the Christmas season, and I look forward to what you have planned in 2019.
Likewise. Look forward to seeing you next year.
Cheers.
Cheers, Jeff.
Cheerio.
Bye.